by sharing our strategic planning process. Okay, so you can see on this infographic that it was a very careful and thoughtful and long process. It depicts the research, analysis, and meetings that took place between 2019 and 2020 that led to our new framework and the grant-making strategies and protocols. I'll begin with the top right where it says communities served. We really wanted to make sure we had a good understanding of the communities in our service area. So we reviewed and analyzed 6 community health needs assessments. 4 of those were hospital-based and 2 were conducted by community health departments. We also did a public health field scan. We looked at peer-reviewed journals to identify the drivers for health for those who disproportionately experience health inequities or disparities. We benchmarked the philanthropic landscape by consulting peer foundations to learn what they were doing and to see how it could inform our work. And we also posted questions on philanthropy affinity group listservs. We held a board retreat for staff and board and many meetings and workshops, all of which were virtual as of March 2020. We worked with 2 consultant groups over the course of the strategic planning process and held many meetings with them to analyze and learn what we learned and develop a plan of action. And perhaps most importantly, we engaged 11 grantee partners over the course of the planning effort through surveys, phone interviews, and emails. Most of those conversations were conducted by the consultants so that the grantees could speak freely about the foundation's current and proposed work. I think we were all so appreciative of the grantees' feedback. It was vital and it was incorporated throughout, and we can't thank them enough for the time they spent in helping us to develop the plan and these new applications. So in summary, we learned a lot from this process. And as you'll hear, learning will be an ongoing component of how we work as we go forward. And with that, Kathy will take over.
Good morning, everyone. And as Pam said, it's so nice to see all of you here this morning. Thank you for joining us. We're glad to be here and to be sharing our new framework and our new grant applications with you this morning. And first, we'd like to share our new vision and our new mission. Our new mission is partnering to advance health equity through learning, grant making, and advocating. And that first word, partnering, is really important. We know at Partners for Health that we can't be everything to everybody, and we acknowledge our size, which is small for a foundation. And so we pledge to partner with others to achieve our vision of thriving communities, ensuring health for all. At Partners for Health, we also recognize that the solutions to issues that prevent people from thriving can be determined by listening and learning from the communities that are most affected by health inequities. When we talk about community, we're thinking about a group of people that might live in the same geographic area, a specific location, zip code, municipality, or city. But we also are talking about a group of people that may share a common characteristic or more than one socially defined characteristic. We seek to learn from communities that have been historically marginalized and under-resourced and amplify their voices, because we believe this is how we can determine the best ways to support organizations, systems changes, and policies that will truly make a difference. So our plan is to realign our grant making and invest in organizations, projects, and policies that lead to healthy communities. We know that everyone prospers when those that are most vulnerable to health inequities are supported and sitting at the decision-making table or informing those decision makers directly. Through partnering with community organizations, we'll strive to advance health equity through engaging in learning and relationship building activities, providing funding opportunities for eligible organizations that meet specific criteria, and partnering with local, state, and perhaps even national agencies to advocate for and leverage resources toward furthering what will ultimately become the Foundation's policy agenda. We plan to provide funding to nonprofit organizations in 3 different ways, and Jackie's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So our types of grant making in our new strategic plan include general operating grants. These will be used to support the day-to-day activities and general expenses of organizations. Funding can be used to help the organization meet its overall mission. We also have project grants to support specific initiatives, projects, and collaborative efforts between organizations that improve and enhance services provided to community members or communities. Funds can be used for the planning and delivering of these specific types of projects. And capacity building grants to support skill building, learning of organizations and organization staff, regardless of the age of the organization. Funds can also be used to attend conferences, workshops, educational series, technical assistance, and other opportunities to gain expertise. The Foundation will also consider one-time non-renewable requests for support for strategic planning. So that's a very brief overview of our 3 different types of grants, but Kathy's going to go a little bit deeper into what's changed overall in this new application process.
Thanks, Jen. So to start, all 3 grant applications reflect our Partners for Health values and demonstrate a movement to be more inclusive of the communities with the most needs. Right out of the gate, applicant organizations will be asked to reflect on how their constituents are represented within their organization's leadership. So this will mean asking members of your board or your leadership staff to self-identify if they are members of communities that are vulnerable to health inequities. We acknowledge that we're in the same process of doing this ourselves. We're seeking more representation of people of color, people with direct knowledge of our community's needs, and residents of our service area within our own board of directors. The applications ask also how you're informed from your constituents and from other safety agencies that you collaborate with and or refer to. And how do you assess and reassess those needs? How do you track the positive changes that result from your work? They ask about your greatest accomplishments, your greatest challenges, and how you define success for your organization and know that you've succeeded. We realize that the first time you fill out the new apps, it may take some time and effort to answer all of these questions, and the questions do vary depending upon the type of application. But that's the same kind of questions that we're asking ourselves and committing ourselves to. And we know that they require quite a bit of thought. But that's essentially the purpose of our new applications. We are being more intentional to achieve our mission and vision because the gap in health disparities is widening in spite of all of our collective work. When we first started doing our strategic planning, we worked with a consulting group called TCC Group, and they had issued a report titled Success by Design. In that report, they talked about a nonprofit, if they were doing a project or an initiative and they achieved 80% success rate, they would feel like they had been successful and done a good job. But then they asked the next question, which was, what happened to the other 20% of the participants that weren't benefited? Or maybe they are the 20% that are consistently left behind. So how do we achieve success for the remaining 20% of our constituents that may not benefit from our services? And it's that question and others that have informed our new vision, mission, and grant applications. So we hope that when you do your work, you'll consider that question and some of these others that we mentioned to inform the way we can work together moving forward. We believe, and I think you'll agree, that the times we live in demand that we make some changes. And when we say community here, we're talking about the community of funders, the nonprofits and institutions that serve all of our constituents. It's our hope that these applications incentivize improved collaborations among organizations, an increased focus on inclusion and health equity, and to make sure that community voice is at the decision table or is directly informing decision makers. Again, these applications are to help us think differently about the ways we work and the ways we work together. So Jackie's going to tell you a little bit about the eligibility requirements.
Thank you, Kathy. So as before, eligible organizations are recognized as tax-exempt nonprofit organizations under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Tax Code. They can also be a local government entity or have a fiscal sponsor that is a 501c3. Again, geographic location, that has not changed. Eligible organizations provide direct services to one or more of the following 15 communities in Passaic and Essex counties. And this information, as well as this map, can be found on our website under Communities Served. And finally, similar to what Kathy discussed, eligible organizations provide services in ways that share and demonstrate Partners for Health Foundation's values, which include addressing health equity, using a systems perspective or social determinant of health lens to inform the work, engage the community in the planning and delivery of services, as well as use data to inform services.
All of this information will be on our website, so you don't have to take notes on this, but we also want to talk a little bit about reporting. So reporting for the new grant applications will follow a similar format across all 3 grant application types. And for each type, we'll be asking for check-ins through the grantee's preferred medium. So that will most likely include a written report, particularly at the end of a grant, but we will also accept a pre-recorded video for some smaller grants, a call with a PFH staff member or a meeting with a staff member, or a blog post or news story for some grants, which can be posted on our website. And we may follow up with you to reflect on any key takeaways and document them as part of our learning process. And all the reporting requirements will be included in any grant agreement and will be available to answer any questions about them at that time.
Thank you, Kathy. And for technical support, please feel free to either reach out to me or Kathy in terms of how to apply or any questions you might have about the applications themselves. But we do also ask that you visit our website. Like I said, we have instructions on how to apply, definitions for all of the new terms that we are using in our applications, as well as video resources that take you step by step and also reiterate some of the information that was shared today.